So this is kind of short notice, so I've prepared a little bit of information, but then we're going to kind of go in depth and do some tapping on it with each other. And since we have such a small group, maybe we can go in the other room and everybody kind of tap on one person. I kind of like the feel of that. We've done that before. But what's really interesting, I think the people that are here have this immune system issue more than you might think. Okay, not that everybody doesn't have this or can't benefit from it, but as we were meditating, I was thinking about, yeah, everybody here could really benefit from this. And it's interesting that, this came to me just after, we worked on the immune system a couple of times, but then this really came to me in a different kind of way. It was not something new to me. And most of y'all know that I've been focusing on the immune system. It came to me about the immune system, that the I am. So to have a strong immune system means you have to have a very strong I am system. So the more negative I ams you have, like I'm worthless, or all those little negative I ams, weaken your immune system, literally. So it's a strong sense of self that equals a strong immune system. So basically, your I am being strong, which is built up by positive affirmations versus negative ones. And people don't always think about it, but our thoughts are affirmations. Every one of our thoughts, in my opinion, is a prayer, an affirmation. So if you've got a negative thought in there, you're basically saying, universe, hey, I want this. And of course, that's all been highlighted with things like the movie The Secret and focusing and those types of things. So that awareness of that mechanism has been highlighted in lots of different ways. But I want to look at the immune system regarding it. So the immune system, of course, is your defense system. So basically, your immune system is the military of your body. Something crosses your border, you attack it, you kill it, you get rid of it, if it's hostile to your body. But it's not the only way. And really the immune system, which came up during a session today, the immune system, real function isn't necessarily to fight something, but to transform something. So, whenever there's an illness that gets, some kind of pathogen that gets into you, your body's working really to transform the pathogen. It's transforming the pathogen, which in my language means it's transforming some kind of consciousness in you. So, the immune system, the first level of the immune system, we did this in the meditation just a minute ago. That first level of the immune system is your energy field. It's way out here. So your immune system is out beyond your body, like your auric field or your auric layer, just like the atmosphere of the earth. Okay? So if a meteor comes along, hits the atmosphere of the earth is burning it up. So hopefully by the time it gets to the physical part of the earth, it's either so small it has no impact, or it's a lot smaller than it would have, right? So to me, that's the function of the immune system, is to burn up those negativity things before they ever get to us.
Yeah, in any case, it's changing it. It's affecting
it's changing that particular thing. So it's a field around you, just like I said, the earth, the atmosphere around the earth. So assaults against the self, like the meteor coming in, should get burnt up on that level. Okay, I really think that's the higher function of the immune system. Once it gets into you, I think something else takes over completely, because that's what came up in this session today. A lot of stuff that I get just comes from, oh, I've seen that in the session and it's coming up. It's like, oh, now I see that in an entirely different way. So I'd had this information a little, slightly, which I thought we were going in a good direction with the immune system, but now it's like I'm getting this bigger understanding now. And I've got the I am before, but now to me it makes more sense. I want to share that. So bottom line, the higher level of the immune system is whatever is coming your way is burned up way before it ever gets to you. In other words, if you've gotten sick or you've got some kind of illness or disease, it's gotten to you. So the immune, because if you think about it, our bodies are in combat 24/7. In other words, and I really think by the time somebody's 30 years old, they've probably had cancer at least once, but it never manifested because the body was able to kill it. Does that make sense? So our illness means that basically, you can look at it this way, a physical illness is just highlighting our weak spot. It's highlighting something that needs to be transformed. So, in other words, that immune system, that energy layer right there, should burn up the negativity, unless you have a hole or a charge or a weakness, which to me are all the same thing. Our charges come from consciousness. So in traditional Chinese medicine, there's no such thing as a pathogen causing a problem. That's not to say there's no such thing as pathogens, but the pathogens don't cause the problem. And I would take that even further. I would say that the pathogens are created by consciousness to fulfill the need to manifest a problem, to help you see the issue, right? So basically, consciousness is created, because if our consciousness is in charge, we're creating things all the time. So what if in reality, way back when, there was no such thing as a blah, blah, blah parasitic thing, but the conscious needed it, so it created it to that pathogen to fulfill the need, right? Isn't that crazy? So, like I said, in traditional Chinese medicine, the pathogen is not the cause of the problem. It's what we look at when somebody has a disease. We're like, oh yeah, they have whatever. We look at the pathogen, but that's not the problem. That's just the opportunistic being that jumped in. The number one problem was that there was a hole or a weakness in the field, which would have been a weakness in the consciousness. So, and in other languages, a weakness in our consciousness will create an opportunistic thing to come in, whether it's a person in the environment, a situation, or in the health, at the actual pathogenic. You can take it out and look at it in a microscope. It's a pathogen, but I think it was created by consciousness. Does that make sense? So the pathogen doesn't cause the problem. It's the consciousness, the weakness that created the hole, the doorway for the pathogen to come through. So it's like a meteor sneaking through the atmosphere and then boom, impacting the physical body in a strong way. So the pathogens are not the root cause of any problem. The root cause of the problem is consciousness. I want to say that again. The pathogen is not the cause of the problem. It's the consciousness that created the hole for the opportunistic pathogen to come in. It reminds me of something on my grandparents' farm. There were always these bagworms that would come through. And what's interesting, the bagworms would only attack the trees that weren't healthy. So you can sit here and spray all things on the tree and try to take care of the tree, but the only trees that were attacked were the ones that were unhealthy. So, and like if a carcass dies in the middle of nowhere, there's all these little insects and pathogens there to break it down. That's their job. So when a pathogen shows up in your body, it's just doing its job, which means it's matching some consciousness in you that needs to be looked at and addressed. But once something is in your system, you have to fight it off. And this is what came up in the session. So this person had a bunch of so what came up was this person had worn down their solar plexus energy because they were because they were in this pattern of having to fight for everything that they needed. Okay? Fight for this, fight for that, fight to be heard. So it wasn't about a strong I am, it was about I have to fight. Because if you're really strong, you don't have to fight shit. It's like this, the master martial artist that has this confidence and strength. They never get challenged because the presence is already there in the field. Okay, so if you've got to fight for something, it's telling you have a weakness around it. Does that make sense? So once something gets into you, then of course you have to fight it off. That's when it becomes a bunch of your solar plexus energy being used up to try to fight off a flu or something, and as opposed to you beat it off before it gets that deep. And I know, like Katie's mentioned before, like she's like texted me or emailed me and said something's coming on, and then she taps on something or focuses and kills it off that way before it ever hits, which is really the conscious way to do it. It's like you can see that meteor coming, and you're really focusing in that way to shoot it up, but sometimes it still zaps you. You know, sometimes we still get zapped. But if if a pathogen caused all problems, when the flu comes through, everyone would be affected. Why not everyone is affected is because everyone has a different field, a different level of strength of I am. This past winter around Christmas, I got zapped because my I am was feeling down around some things about my direction, where I'm going to focus, and this. So I didn't have my defenses up. But my defense, my greatest defense is what? Based on what I just said.
Confidence in yourself.
Yeah, just a loving acceptance of the self. My I am was weak, and therefore that opportunistic thing allowed it in. You can even say I invited it in.
And I think it has something to do with also just being who you want to be and saying that and doing it.
Sometimes just that alone, because what comes into that is, like in this case, what came up during that session was, this person living in a constant hostile environment instead of a supportive environment. So it's like two countries trying to get along. Each one starts expecting the other to attack them, that they wind up causing this hostility instead of them being supporting each other, knowing that all, no matter what color you are, sex you are, you're all brothers and sisters, and realizing, hey, we need to support each other, not attack each other, which is insanity. But that's the micro being expressed out into the micro, macro, whatever. You get it. Yeah. So what came to me like around that shield is like being able to turn bullets into flowers, which is like that's where your true power is. So I don't have, because if I have this confidence and the strength in me, then I don't have to fight it off. Because if a bullet's coming at me and I have to fight it off, then I'm giving the bullet a little more power than I should give it more power. I'm having to fight something. But I have this confidence, like somebody says, you know, you're such a loser. If I have that weakness in my field, that's going to hit me like a huge meteorite, right, or a huge bullet. But if I've got this strong field of confidence, that sucker is going to get burned up. I'm like, laugh it off. But we all have our own individual weaknesses that allow that to seep into us and zap us. So the thing is to address those weaknesses so we can understand that ultimately we have the power to turn bullets into flowers. That's, to me, the highest level of the immune system, not fighting something, but the transformational aspect. That's why it's the heart center. Love transforms everything, right? I got chills on that. Even on my face. I don't usually get face chills. So it's the transformative power of love and understanding and the strong love for self, but ultimately the I am, the love for who I am is so strong that it can transform any negativity out there. And once it comes into me, so if somebody shoots some negative at me and I have this strong field, it's like maybe I don't get it right at the edge, but I'm working on it, I'm seeing on it, but by the time it gets anywhere near my physical energy, it's already been transformed that it just goes psh. It's like a meteor turning into dust.
It's almost like having a shield, like
yeah.
holding a shield. And I remember when I first heard this, it was many years ago, and we all in the group drew a picture of our shield. Well, mine had diamonds and all kinds of, it was very ornate.
Yeah. Right.
Because I was in marketing and people person, and it was showy. So it wasn't strong, really.
Yeah.
It showed as if I was.
Yeah. So
I had to take all the stuff off over time.
That's cool.
And get one that would truly defend me. And it wasn't keeping the good stuff from coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes me think of that movie, Captain America, the new one. Have y'all seen that, the new one? Well, Captain America is walking through and they're showing him these shields. There's like fancy shields with missiles and stuff like that. And he walks in and he picks the most plain, just round one, which turns out to be the perfect one for him. You know, so yeah, I mean, sometimes when we have all these bells and whistles, you know, it's like we're trying to project that we are self-confident, but it doesn't mean we are. And usually when you're really self-confident, there is no boasting in it. It's a knowing. That's the knowing that is the strength, not that I have to say anything about it.
You don't even have to have a shield.
Yeah, then there's no shield. So, see, once I already said that, once something is in your system, you have to fight it off, which engages the solar plexus energy, which is then it becomes a battle. And then it's like, I did that when I had that, luckily mine came and went really fast, but it can turn into like, okay, today I'm up top and then tomorrow you're down. I mean, 5 minutes, so it really turns into this battle of energy as opposed to this transformation. So the difference between having a healthy immune system is the difference between having to transform something, which is much easier than having to fight against it. Because in the fighting process, you are doing a certain amount of transformation, but there's a lot more effort involved, right? Instead of like stating, I'm a powerful person, and having the confidence to state that, there's a lot difference than stating that affirmation, but it not be really rooted in anything strong, and then you feel shaky about it, and then you have to fight for that, like, I am powerful, and then you find the person who's saying I'm powerful is going out and fighting everybody to prove they're powerful. Well, that's not really real power. Turning the bullets into flowers made me think about the Matrix, which, I'm all typically about the Matrix just because of the consciousness aspect. So it made me think of this particular thing, so I wrote it down. Neo first. So what you're trying to tell, what are you trying to tell me? That I can dodge bullets? And Morphe says, no, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you are ready, you won't have to. That's the same thing with the immune system. It's like, here's this negativity coming at you. Here's this virus. Okay, I'm going to have to dodge this virus. I'm going to dodge this. That's giving it more power than having the strong sense of self where there's no dodging involved. So when you're ready, when you're really in the strength of yourself, you don't have to dodge shit because you transform it that quickly. And the more you transform that, you carry that energy of transformation with you. And we're going to tap on these things, but just for a quick little recording, I'm just going to mention some of the affirmations that came up that we can play with today. The first one was, even though I'm fed up, because that's like a solar plexus thing, stomach thing, even though I'm fed up with having to fight for whatever it is, I love and accept myself. So that first one would be, although I'm fed up, having to fight for everything I need, blank. Another one is like an affirmation aspect is, I'm immune to whatever comes into your mind. Like say, like in the particular case I was working on today, is like we picked out this particular person, and basically the question I posed to this person was, okay, I said I had like an imagining. Okay, I said you're imagining this person, and in your mind, you're not saying it out loud, but in your mind you're saying, I'm immune to your, and then the person filled in those blanks. So that's something you can play with.
Wait. Repeat that.
Okay, so let me do that with you kind of for a second, okay? So imagine there's somebody there before you that you have to fight with, because it's what we're having to fight with that we're going to take away.
And sometimes we don't have to. Sometimes it's a trigger and we just do it.
Yeah, whether you're having to or you feel triggered to, if you're fighting something, then when you're fighting something, it's coming from weakness instead of power. That's what I'm trying to say, bottom line. So pick something. It could be a situation, it could be money, it could be work, a person. Pick that thing out, okay? So just close your eyes and imagine that. And I'm going to say something as if you're saying it, but I want you to fill in the blank, okay? As if you're saying it to the person. You could be saying it to the situation, like money, whatever it is, okay? So I just want you, we're not going to know what you're talking about. You can just blurt it out loud. And so I'm saying this as you to the thing, and you fill in the blank, okay?
Person.
Yeah. Not the person, but the thing that you need to be immune from that thing, okay?
No.
So I need to clarify that.
Yeah.
Think about. I'm gonna give an example, even though it may not be yours, to make it easier. Imagine there's someone in front of you that you tend to have to fight against, whether you feel like you need to or you're forced to. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is focus on saying. We're going to say something. I don't want to give it away completely. And then you're going to fill in the blank. But what you're saying, what you're affirming is, I guess I'm going to have to tell you.
Just you said the line.
Okay, I already said the line. Okay. Well, it's basically, I'm immune to your, whatever it is.
You want to do it with me?
Huh?
You want to do it with me?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do it with me.
Okay. So,
I had this person.
Okay, you got this person.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about how this person gets you, okay?
Okay.
So for example, if they're critical, if they're negative, it's like, so what you're saying is I'm immune to your negativity.
Okay.
What?
This person chooses to, try to get out of work.
Okay.
Okay.
So how is that affecting you though? What is the action that's getting you?
Shirking her responsibilities. When she shirks her responsibilities, and she just gets away with doing nothing.
Okay. Well, in this case, you could say, I'm immune to this person. You could always say the name whenever you're by yourself. I'm immune to this person shirking their responsibility.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Another more direct way would be like, say somebody's really critical of you. It's like you affirm, I'm immune to so-and-so's criticism of me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because basically criticism, it doesn't have to be a bullet. I mean, criticism is like psh, these huge meteors and missiles, bullets being shot at you. If you don't transform them, once they hit you, they've already affected you. And that's usually more powerful than something physical, which really just opens up for the physical to happen.
So I have a friend that I try to go to lunch with her often and blah, 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 but every time I'm with her, she's just, everything's negative, everything's doom and gloom and blah, and I start going, so I would say I'm immune to your negativity.
Yeah, that right there is simple. That's simple enough right there. I actually wrote down here, which was the next line, one of the things that you can affirm, this is more of an affirmation more than a tapping, of course you can tap affirmations, I really believe in that, is I can turn negativity into healing. So if you have that affirmation and your immune system is the healing thing, the transforming thing, is what happens is once you get into the mode, once the person's bullets, especially since we're used to people, you know, what'll happen is you'll be on guard before you even see the person. You're like, oh,
so you're already compromised.
Yeah, you're already compromised. So what happens is you're going, hey, let's meet for lunch, and you're, you know, in the back of your mind going, freak, you know. So you've already, your defense system is already down, and you're already into. But if you can start affirming something like this, which is actually the truth. I can turn negativity into healing, but if you're coming from, I need to fight against that thing, you've lost it. You're in your solar plexus, not in the heart. The solar plexus is not so much a transformer as it deals with your will getting you in a particular direction. The heart is a complete transformation. It can take negativity. It can literally turn, I got my chills again, bullets into flowers. Another thing to say was, what I just said, I can transform or turn bullets into flowers. And another one that's really strong for the I am to strengthen the immune system is simply I'm okay. You know, a lot of us as kids never got that simple affirmation like I'm okay. You know, there's always something wrong. When there's something wrong, or whether somebody's picking on you from the outside, picking at you is weakening your defenses, you're weakening your I am, or you're doing it from the inside, it's the same damn thing. So I'm okay would be just a really good affirmation just to start building the I am up. So like I said, I'm immune to, you can think about a situation. Let's just play with money for a second, okay? But think of money and where you have to fight for it. So give me some examples of, I know it's kind of hard because I'm trying.
I'm immune to my addiction to you.
Oh, perfect. Okay. What else?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
I'm immune to my addiction to money. You know how money makes you think you have to have it.
Yeah, so you imagine like you're looking at that particular thing. So I'm focusing on money, like Beth was saying, focusing on money, and I'm immune to my addictive need of you, something like that. Anybody else have something around money, just to give an example? I'm trying to think of one of my, sometimes when I'm throwing this stuff out, I can't tune into myself as well.
Needing.
Yeah.
Thinking I need.
I don't feel anything that you're saying.
Okay, good.
No, I don't.
Oh, you're talking about the money or what we've been talking about? Both?
I don't feel anything that Beth is saying right now.
Okay.
About the money.
Okay.
I think for me it's more of, I do need it. It's not a perception.
Mm-hmm.
If I had it, I would have the freedom to make a different choice about something. So I feel like I'm blocking it from myself.
Okay, but think of that though. Let's think of that as part of the immune system though, okay? Let's use the...
And that's where I was coming from.
Yeah, because there's lots of ways we could look at it, but in this case, you're still fighting for it or against it. There's a fight against money. Does that make sense?
Obviously, because I'm blocking it.
Okay, so let's, and this is for myself too, so let's look at that for a second. In what way do you feel, I'm going to put it this is another way this popped in my head. So if you're looking at someone or money or something like it, you say, how is this attacking me? That may give you, how am I feeling attacked by? That may give you the things to say I'm immune to. Does that make sense? So if you're feeling attacked by somebody, then you can say, well, I'm immune to this person's attacks. I'm immune to this person's criticism. But to find that answer, you can simply say, how am I feeling attacked by this?
If I didn't have a situation that I want to change, and in my perception of the situation, it's coming down to money is the only thing stopping me. If I wasn't in this situation right now, money means nothing to me.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a lifestyle person. I'm not a label shopper. I run my vehicles, so I run them into the ground. I don't vacation, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay,
money is not an issue to me, but right now,
That would be the answer to your.
that would be the granted
So explain that bit.
answer to my, I feel like it has imprisoned me and it's
Well, there we
from making a
right.
choice.
So all I'm trying to do is
Choice.
let's look at life as, what if maybe a new perception to take is everything where we're limited or whatever it is comes back to a struggle with it. So you're having a struggle with money. How is money attacking you? Just look at it that way. Try to personify the thing.
It is, the lack of money has imprisoned me.
Okay, so now let's look. So what I'm saying, personify the money. If it's limiting you, it's limiting you in what way?
It's limiting me in freedom of choice.
It's abandoned.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get at the deeper thing there. Like, I'm immune to money eluding me or avoiding me. I mean, I would play with it that way. If you're personifying, does that make sense? Because if money is what you want and it's something you're struggling with, it'd be like, I'm immune to money's, what'd I say, avoiding me?
Yes.
That would be the best example. But I think we can play with that in that kind of does that make sense in that context? Because if you're struggling with it, there's certain things.
It's eluding me. It's like my desire for money,
But let's make it an aggressor, though. Okay.
Yeah.
So if the money is an aggressor,
It's teasing.
well, that could be it too. But if money was teasing you, what would it be? What would it be doing to you? Withholding, teasing.
Just out of reach.
Uh-huh.
Taunting.
Yes, taunting.
Okay, that's a decent one.
I don't know why, but for some reason, I'm sitting here thinking it's balance that we're wanting
Mhm.
and needing to fight all these things. And it's almost as if someone is standing with their feet together,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they are immune to this, they take the power stance.
Right, exactly. But it's not but to me this is the power stance. This here is a solar plexus stance. I even have my arms crossed in front of my solar plexus. The immune response is one of complete openness.
Yes.
Mhm.
Complete surrender and openness, because you know you have the power. It's like God walking up to, or Jesus walking up to somebody and saying, stand up.
Mhm.
You've got to have such a strong I am that it overrides a struggle with trying to get that person to stand up. Is that what I'm trying to say? You've got to have that heart space that you're coming from instead of the solar plexus. I'm not going to try to force you up. I, with my I am, can transform you. Maybe that's where I've been trying to get all along.
I
So,
know somewhere along the line, because these past couple of months, especially.
oh, it just popped in my head, but go ahead.
Are you sure?
Don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Especially these last couple of months, for a lot of personal reasons, it's been like in my face.
Mm.
And probably about 4 weeks ago, I got sick.
Mm.
And it is the first time I have gotten sick. I mean, like literally sick in probably over 3 years. And it knocked me on my ass for a good 2 weeks and then some. And I got so fucking mad that every day I felt the need to say, I never get sick. Nothing ever gets me like this. I'm so fucking mad at myself for not being able to heal it. That instead, in the long run, I should have been flipping that to saying, I did heal it. I didn't go to the doctor. I'm positive that I had the flu with the symptoms that I had, and I didn't need the antibiotics, and I didn't take the pain, whatever.
But you were in the fight mode, but you were fighting
I was
yourself.
fighting
You were beating
every
yourself
time.
up. You're like,
Right.
I can't. So
Right.
but
And since it happened, I mean, I'm over the illness.
Mhm.
My fucking energy is gone.
Mhm.
Last night it was barely 6:30, and I thought, I cannot fucking believe it's 10 o'clock. Like, I wanted to lay down and take a nap until it was bedtime.
Mhm.
And that is like daily with me.
Right.
I found myself going home at lunch just to close my eyes for 20 minutes.
Well, part of the reason I brought this up was because there's been a lot of that sickness and illness that's gone through, and it does leave you a little weak. But the word that came to me, and so just close your eyes and see if this feels feels in a particular way, okay? I'm immune to needing you.
Oh, that did it.
Yeah. Because the needing puts you into, I have to fight for it, I have to struggle for it, there it is. I'm trying, because this is how I'm seeing it. It's like, not only is it things you want to keep out of your energy field, but things you want to get in too. You know what I mean?
Because I've never felt in my life like I needed money.
There you go.
And I've always been able to create whatever situation I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm stuck, and that's exactly what I've been feeling. I need the money to change my situation.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come from a point of desperation, you know, they say that what you fear is what you draw.
Yeah, more
The more I
desperation.
felt like I've needed it, the farther away it feels.
So one thing that you can affirm is maybe I'm immune to needing you. I'm immune to something like that. That just came through.
That works.
Anyway, those are some things to play with. I'm going to turn this recording off now, and we'll do some tappings and stuff in the other room. But that's what I wanted to kind of leave just in general for everyone.
So it becomes not just a heartfelt emotional thing or intellectual, it also becomes a physical.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
Because you're, whether you're standing with your feet together or you've got that foundation.
well, to me, the physical is always going to follow the mental and emotional.
Right.
If I'm feeling like I need to protect myself, this is my stance. I don't stand like this and then think that. I stand like that because I'm thinking that. If I'm thinking I can transform and take anything on in the world, and I do it without having to fight, I walk through the world completely open and strong. So it's the mental emotional that makes the physical do its thing. That's why the pathogen isn't the problem. It's your mental emotional that create. What if really, to take it to the extreme, what if human consciousness is creating all kinds of new bugs and creatures because of our consciousness? Does that make sense? We're creating new ones all the time. And then we got to fight against them. How come we have to have the same, how come we have to have a new flu every year, right?
Right.
So what if in mass consciousness we keep creating these things because consciousness creates, period. So you take away the the consciousness, the mental emotional construct, you take that away, then the physical will change automatically. So, but this is just saying, I am the strong presence of self that can transform anything around you. That's true healing. That's the whole. That's why it's associated with the heart chakra, the green energy, the center of the chakras, the lower and the lower and the upper. And that's where you transform it. Is this strong sense of I am. Any kind of weakness in the I am, or weakness in belief in yourself, whatever that weakness is, in your sense of self-consciousness, you will manifest as a limitation in a situation, a pathogen, a relationship, whatever it is. But the physical always follows the consciousness. It's not the other way
How
around.
frustrating
Yeah.
it is.
But the thing is,
How freeing.
but you can. But the cool thing about the physical body being, the physical body is literally the screen on the computer. So I can look at the physical body and go, oh, I see why that's there. And then you can go into the hard drive, access it through the keyboard, which is like the meridians of the chakras, and then you change it. So the physical, that's why I'm saying, if there is a lack in the mass consciousness, we will, on a consciousness level, we'll create a physical representation of that, whether it's already there or not. What if every little creature on the planet we've created over time, beings have created over time because of a specific need? Isn't that a crazy thought? Anyway, that's it for this part, and we'll go in the other room and tap, and peace out everyone in the YouTube world.